Welcome traders. Now today I'm going to do a little tape read and scalping session with you on NQ. Now as you can see on NQ, I'm expecting us to draw to this area here, which I will use a little I for. This is buy side liquidity, equal highs, very clean. On US 500 we did take the high, but I'm expecting NQ to expand up into it. Now someone on Telegram asked me, right, would you look for price to, if we're expecting this high price, would you want to see price drop down into this FVG and then expand higher? Well, the short answer to it was no, and I told him no, we don't want to see price drawing back down to here to go higher. We want to see this area left unfilled on the 4 hour and a positive close above this candle's high. Now, why would you not want to see price retracing to here? Well, let me ask you this. If price is in kill zone and it spends most of its time of the kill zone retracing to a 4 hour FVG, does that sound like an explosive market or a market that wants to expand higher? The simple answer is no, and I told him no, we don't want to see price coming back down here. So this area here I will shade green, as I want it to be a breakaway gap and this candle to close well. Now on the hourly, if we break it down, that's that same gap. We have an immediate rebalance in that gap and then a balanced price range. So we deliver buy side, then sell side, buy side again. So if price is returning down here, this is low probability for an area to go higher. I want to see price rushing away from here. Now in this area of price, this is the opening price and the high. I want to see response from in here. Now I'm going to drop to the 5 minute because this is the lows I wanted to stay intact. On US 500, these are the same lows. Look, they got ran. So this right here is SMT. Now, although they're equal lows, I want it to stay intact. So that will be an area for my stop loss. Right here, we want to see this FVG get disrespected. Once that area gets disrespected and we've got this bullish SMT, I'm expecting us to draw up into this little volume imbalance before this rush lower into sell side. So this imbalance, also this liquidity that fully filled this imbalance, are areas of interest for partials. So this gap right here, as you can see, price completely filled it in here on this candle, on the 140 candle on the 29th of July. So this area is a buy side liquidity pool. This tiny volume imbalance that was left before the break lower are premium arrays combined with that longer term draw, which is this buy side pool. So I don't want to see price coming back down to here. I don't want to see price take out these lows because US 500 has taken out the lows. So I will favour the NQ longs and look for price to disrespect this FVG in here. So let's see if we can get price to do as I'm suggesting, and we can take a trade. You can actually see me do it live for you all to witness and the logic before it. Now if we check DXY, DXY is rushing higher, so is that conducive of a higher NQ? No, that's not great for a higher NQ, but we've just taken this candle's high here. So this is minus buy side liquidity raid, and depending how we close through that, if we can get a reversal, so we close below here, ideally the best close would be, will be below that 50%. So we've got a minor buy side raid in this higher time frame PD array. This right here is a balanced price range, and we're just about to approach that now. So if we can get a little tap into that and then rush and close below this CE, that will be great for my higher idea on NQ. So if we just go back to NQ, and as you can see, we've disrespected here, so I'm going to take a long. Now my long position is going to go from this candle's low, stops below this low here, the lows I don't want to be raided, and then my profit target is these highs. Oh shit. Sorry, I'm trying to talk and execute. So it's a 1 to nearly 1 to 5. So I'm going to take a long here. So this is my trade, and you will hear me entering now. So I'm in long from here. I want to see price. As you can see, we've got an immediate rebalance here. Now I want to see price close above this candle's high, or by minimum way above this candle's high. So if it closes here, I'll still hold the trade. If it closes anywhere within this wick, then I'll be out of the trade. And then we're expecting price to expand up to here. Now I will potentially take a profit off there, maybe 20% off here, another 20% off here, and let 60% run to my target because I'm confident on that draw. So I'm in long. Let's see how price plays out. My stop loss is below the equal lows, and I know that's often considered as bad, but it's an SMT low, so if that low gets run, I want to be out of the trade anyway. So I'm in at 1% risk right now. And then I'll have an alert once we get to this candle's opening price. So in my stop loss, this candle's closing price. So this candle here, if we come down and tap that, then again, that's not indicative of higher prices. So let's see how we play out. Hopefully, once we get into 9:30, we'll have already made ground by 9:30, because 9:30 can do a little Judas swing lower, but I want that to be the fake out. If we don't start expanding before 9:30, then, and this doesn't close strong within a specific time frame that I cannot disclose on here for free, then I'll be out. So within a smaller amount of time, I'll know whether this trade's a holder or not. Let's hop over to US 500, see what that's doing. See, that's closing here, which is also an order block and a volume imbalance, so I'll put the volume imbalance on. So price is tapped in it. We don't want to see it closing below the volume imbalance. We do want to see this making some ground as well. Let's just see this play out. So I'm already up $100, which is just covering costs really. It's nothing crazy. It's 1 to 4.8, which is a nice RR. And I'm actually in for 0.85% risk. So this candle right here is closed nicely, so it's almost confirmed this immediate rebalance. You all know where my position is, so I'm just going to move that to here so we can see price a bit clearer. So within a short amount of time now, I want to see us expand into this area here. Ideally it doesn't touch this line here. Ideally this candle doesn't even come down and touch this again. We want to see a willingness to go higher from price from here, basically. So we'll see how price plays out. See US 500, so good, nice close. We're tapping the volume imbalance again. I want to see this expand as well. It's a slower rate than NQ, but at the same time this video will be useful, because if this is a loser or a trade that isn't playing out the way that I want it to, you will see me go from 0.85% risk and take maybe a 0.5% loss, so nearly halved my risk in a bad trade, even though it's a trade I want to see expand. We all know markets don't act in a way that is always logical. So I've got a limit here because I don't want to see price come and tap that. If price taps that, 50% of my risk will come off. Simple as that. And then my stop loss is these equal lows. Most people be shitting themselves because it's equal low stop, but it's an SMT low. So if price runs that, see price right now, if you notice we have an imbalance here with liquidity below it. So if price is returning to here, I want to be out. So this next candle should ideally expand. If it drops, I'll reduce my risk by 50% at that predetermined level. So half of my lots will be closed out. And ideally it doesn't tap that. Now that's in the realms of possibility that it taps that because it lines up with this discount low here of this FVG. So that is in the realms of possibility to tap, but this is the point where I'll reduce risk. Notice how close it is to my stop. This is how we manage risk. I'm demanding immediate response, and we're still within the time frames of having immediate response. So we want to see this candle showing a willingness to go higher, or at least an unwillingness to go lower. That's basically what I'm waiting to see here. And we have the 9:30 open. We want to see price expand before that. And then my profit target are equal highs all the way up here. And if you notice, SMR, second level of redistribution, first leg of redistribution, and I want to see the second level. So we've just tapped it, so my risk gets reduced by 50%. So as you just heard, my risk got reduced by 50%. My stop loss is now 0.4% is my stop. And I currently lost $84 from my initial entry. Now this candle really has to close strong for me to hold this trade, this next candle. If this next candle doesn't close strong, I'll be out. And this is how we manage trades. So on a 100k account, I've lost $84. Does that sound like unmanageable risk? No. It quite frankly isn't. I want to see this area of price expand. This next candle, so within 3 minutes I'll either be still in this trade or completely out in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Let's have a little flick over to the XY. This could all be for this run to this level first and then potential drop. As you can see, displacing higher, so higher prices looking likely on DXY. Two minutes and 24 seconds. This will be my first trade of the week. Now, you see that close? That means I'm going to hold right now. Price is indicating higher for me. We're back around break even. And it looks like price is just going to tap this. We don't want to see it touch the discount low, so we don't want to see it touch this level again. We want this candle to not touch this low of the fair value gap, ideally not even touch 50%, we've just touched 50%. Now we want to see a reaction basically. It doesn't mean that if we get back down here I will take more risk off. If we take out this low now, this will be my next area to reduce risk, this low here. So we won't reduce risk at this level, but we will reduce risk here if we come back down to here. So price is flirting with the CE of that fair value gap right now, or inversion fair value gap. We want to see price show a willingness to go higher. Now, as you can see, price is closed here. Price is closed, flirted with the upper end of this fair value gap. Here it closed outside the fair value gap. So now I will be holding this trade, and this will be my next area for reduced risk. So now we just wait, and hopefully before 9:30 we get an explosion, and then 9:30 can give us potentially another entry. Now, one thing I want to bring your attention to is here, before on the hourly, this candle's wick, this order block's wick, we drop down to the 5 minute, becomes a breaker. We've got high, low, high, lower low, then we expand through it here. So that candle's wick on the 1 hour has become a breaker on the 5 minute, and look at what we're doing now. All the logic that I suggested, it's almost like it works. So we'll have a little look at US 500. That's just consolidating. Price isn't giving any signals to anyone who's long that doesn't understand price that this thing's going higher, but for all the reasons I've suggested, I think price is going to my draw. We just want a nice close on this candle outside. Oh, scary longs, people shitting themselves who are long. Not your boy Wolfpack, purely because of my immaculate trade management. I have 0.45% risk on the table now. So if we go to my full take profit, it'll be around 2% gain. Risking 0.4%, 0.45%. So let's see what we get. If this candle keeps on flirting with this immediate rebalance high here, that won't be indicative of higher prices, explosive price. And like I stated before, this will be my next area where I take off risk. So we shall wait and see. Notice here we have a failure swing. As you just saw, people, that immaculate trade management, I had to mute my mic because of some background noise. People are doing works outside. But I just took some longs in here. Immaculate trade management, the top hit my second partial level and I got taken out. Now, as you can see here, this breakaway gap, these breakaway gaps that I was utilizing for this long trade in here to capitalize on profits still there, was then used as a draw. Now, why do breakaway gaps with a liquidity like this, so you've got a full FVG which is here, and then this small swing low is formed in it, why do these become draws? Well, these become draws because it's a double loaded deal. So you have inefficient delivery and the liquidity pool, so you get two areas of liquidity. Instead of just having an old high or old low, you've got inefficient delivery and failure swings. So after we touched my second partial level, we started to show signs of reversal. So now, after 9:30, it looks like we're going to get potential for a sell as well. So I've caught a buy, took two partials, one here, and as you can see, these were my partial levels. Look at the tick to the tick, that is it. And now we're starting to displace lower. I wanted us to rush higher to take profits in here, but look, we're nowhere near profit taking higher and we have displacement lower. We are disrespecting breakaway gaps. So now we can look for short entries, which is going to be better on NQ. So I'm going to potentially look for short, and where's my short going to come from? The breakaway gap. And what do we have above price? A breakaway gap. Breaking, showing signs that we want to break lower and expand lower. So if we get a close below this breakaway gap, I will short it and then look to take profits in this hour. This was that 4-hour gap I said was not a good area to long from, and look what it's going to be. Equal low sell side targets, value swings. Now let's look along this price leg. We've got this intermediate type 2 intermediate term low, because apologies, that is another area to take some profit at. If you notice in here, low, tapped, breakaway gap draw, expansion. So this will be an area I'm looking at, and then I'm looking for another area to take some profits at, which will be, my eye draws to this balanced price range in here. So from this candle's high to this candle's low, looks like another area of inefficient delivery. So now we're going to look for these draws to be hit. And again, hopefully I can show you some immaculate trade management like I did on the longs in here. Although I was expecting us to expand up here, it was an SMT with ES, so it wasn't a high probability drawing liquidity. That's why I took a partial here and a partial here, because I knew these were potential points of reversal. So it looks like with 2 minutes, this candle should close below this breakaway gap, and that previous breakaway gap will become my new entry. If we can close down, let's see if we have, oh, we're getting bullish SMT right now, so we want to see ES expand lower and take out some lows. This could have been potential for more upside, but because this draw was an SMT up here, so if we go to ES, these two highs, show you on the 4-hour, it's a bit easier to visualize. This high here, and NQ did not manage to take the high. Now we had this bearish order block, but again there's no displacement and no grab of liquidity other than this minor liquidity, so this order block was not high probability. That's why I didn't mind longing it and fighting this, although it looks like it wasn't right. You can see how the trade management protects me whilst we're in this area, because I'm expecting it up here. There's no FVG left after this order block, only minor buy side has been taken. It didn't take out this high, it was an SMT high creating a failure swing, so that's why my intention was to long it up into that through this order block. So although I didn't manage to capitalize all the way up to here, I did manage to show you immaculate trade management. And now this can be deleted, this 9:30 open can be deleted, and we're going to look for this previous breakaway gap to be my short entry with a stop loss here, because I'm going to assume this displacement should not be retraded to. So here's my new breakaway gap. We have downside targets here. This balanced price range will be my final area of profit taken, and now we look for the entry. Short position, it looks like it's going to tap now, so I'm going to enter short. So my short is going to be here, and then profit targets will be down here. So as you can see, that little tap wick, and then we're rushing down. So the logic, you don't marry a bias. If price is telling me one thing, like I typed a note, we need a strong close above this level because it's a type 2 intermediate term high. So if we got a strong close above here, I would have held, and my partial would have still been triggered, and we would have profited. But we could have held for longer term targets, and I wouldn't be looking to short. But if you notice this manipulation in here, and then we get strong displacements to the downside, immediate rebalance here, I'm looking to get in short to capitalize on the inefficient delivery on the previous buy side of the curve for a market maker sell model. You could have I would target the rejection block, but look for a higher time frame rejection block. So this would be my ultimate draw, and as you can see on the 4 hour, we've come back and we've revisited that. So we're looking for this bearish order block that wasn't high probability, which was why I was long in, to support price lower. And we've got 2 minutes left on this bearish candle. So the next candle I'd expect open high. This is no longer an FVG. Open. So when this closes in 2 minutes 20 seconds, this 4 hour candle, the next candle, I don't want it to revisit my new breakaway gap here. So this old breakaway gap with the high might get traded into. I'll take another entry, and then I'll look for the low to seek these downside targets. So that is essentially the plan after taking some profit on longs, and I actually managed to profit. So going from a potential losing trade, I managed to profit 0.5%. So even though price hit my stop loss, I took 2 partials and made 0.5% on essentially what a normal trader would have taken as a losing trade. That is the difference between someone who makes money at this and knows how to manage trades compared to someone who just does things willy-nilly and has no logic. If you noticed in the recording, all of my decisions were made based off essentially logic and candle closes. None of my decisions were based on emotion. As you saw, the 9:30 open wicked very close to my stop loss. A lot of people would have shit themselves and closed the trade or made a rash decision, but I'm teaching you and showing you how we avoid that by using price as a language. We're using the language of price to tell us if we come up and tap this again, I'll take another entry. And if we check ES is running slightly from that before that breakaway gap. So if we come back to here, I'll take another short. So I'll set a limit. And in 19 seconds, this candle's going to close 13:12. Let's see how this 4 hour candle closes. 3, 2, 1, close, open, bang. We will take another short at that breakaway gap. And you notice how I'm using, that was logical on the buy side to support my buy side idea. So here, bang, another short. I'm shorting it again. Short it again. And as you can see, we're starting to make some little ground lower, nothing too crazy. But we are showing signs of lower prices. So I'm just going to read the language of price and act upon that. And now when you see these entries, and you see ICT buying highs, buying up to the high and then selling down to the lows, then buying up again. This is how he's doing it, and I'm doing it right in front of your eyes. And we're getting a nice candle here on the short side, and I am taking partials once we get down to this low right here. So 50% of both my positions will come off there. This area here, we have a balanced price range, upside, downside, upside again. So this is a valid partial as well, these equal lows. But my partial is going to be now. So as you can see, 40, kill fill, partial, 40. So I've just taken two partials, and we're going to use a similar tool as before. This is my target. So we've got to 50% of our target, so my stop loss is going to be reduced by 50%. So my stop loss goes here, just above these candles, just below this candle's body. So we'll go over to our MetaTrader, and I'll let you listen to me reducing my stop. So my stop goes here, modify, reduced, modify. So my stops are reduced by 50%, and I have banked 4% on those, on 2%. So I've already got 2R out of my trade, and I'm 4% up. And as you can see, I cannot lose now. I cannot lose. You see me buy up until the high and partial at the high, and then short it with no emotion, purely reading price delivery. And as you can see, price is flirting around because this is an intermediate term low. And this is the best way I can teach you to trade, showing you immaculate trade management and reading of price. Look how this previous breakaway gap got used here twice, 2 entries for me. My first entry was here because the candle was moving so quickly. This second entry was a better entry. But when price is moving this quickly, you can't, when you're executing at market as well, and you don't have a limit there, because I'm reading, recording, telling you what's happening. There's a lot going on, and I'm still able to execute. So for the average person who isn't recording, showing you, talking you through, like, this should be a walk in the park, really. And now I'm not going to panic if price is coming up here. I want to see price dropping down in this time window. So essentially that's the longest I'll be in the trade. So from 10 till 12, so 2 hours the maximum hold time for this trade is. And you've seen me buy it up and then short it long immaculately. Now here, if you notice, these equal lows, this low here took out some equal lows previously. Also fully filled this imbalance and volume imbalance. So again, type 2 intermediate term low, balanced price range. If you go into the 15 minute, you see price deliver upside, downside, upside again. So this is balance. We don't want to see price strongly reverse from here. Now if it does, it doesn't matter. I've already made money. And ES is dropping lower as well. So these lows haven't been taken on ES, which is bullish SMT, but with this displacement lower, I'm not just going to start longing it from a bullish SMT because we're displacing lower. So why am I going to long it when the low resistance is on the sell side? I was looking for low resistance on the buy side, but once we didn't get a close above here, previous intermediate term high, and we start to displace breakaway gap, break below this old breakaway gap, close below it, that's when I took an entry. So we're not going to panic. If we get taken out, we get taken out, but I'm not going to just start longing it because we have bullish SMT, because the low resistance, does it look low resistance here or low resistance here? It looks low resistance on the sell side, and I'm in sells. So if we get taken out, that's completely fine. And I can live with that because I've shown you how to manage the trade immaculately. Again, people who are short probably getting scared out with this candle, and it could well easily come back up here. I don't want to be in the trade if we come back up here using this trade management system combined with immaculate reading of price. So again, look, we're pushing up into a balanced area of price. Immediate rebalances are balanced into a breakaway gap. So this candle looks like it's going to take me out, but I've already made my money. It doesn't matter anymore. A partial down here, and the difference is how I'm managing it. You see how I'm managing it. This is not your average trade management. This is not some furu bollocks. I'm showing you exactly what I'm doing and exactly how to read it and the language the price is telling me. Now price is making bullish SMT, and we potentially closing very bullish. This might be the time we take longs to my draw, but I'm not going to get drawn into switching all the time without the logic there. Price is low resistance on the sell side right now. Yes, we have bullish SMT, but I'm not going to commit to that when it doesn't look like this range. If we look in here, is only 24 handles on, or 250 pipettes on US 500. That isn't a lot, so I'm going to stick with the sells, keep my stop loss where we're at, and you're going to see me watch you catch the high and hopefully get tagged in this rejection block on the hourly. So all my entries have been on the 5 minute. I can do this on the hourly, on the 4 hour, on the daily. It doesn't matter. Price is fractal. I'm still reading the same tape. Price is still doing the same functions. Apologies for the notifications. But this is the best way for you to see how a trader actually does this. Not no furu hindsight shit. You're going to see the executions at the end. They're all done on my phone. I prefer to execute on my phone than on the PC because I like to record and view the charts on the PC, and I don't trade a futures broker, so I can't execute on TradingView. And notice that 4 hour order block that was low probability, that breakaway gap forms right on the opening price. That is not a coincidence. No, I don't like this close because it's closed within this candle's body and way above this high, but that doesn't scare me out because we're on the sell side of the curve, in my opinion, right now. So we're just going to, and as I told you before, on this 4 hour candle, we're going to come up, make the high, and look what we've done. We tapped the breakaway gap, like I said. We're perfectly permitted to go up to this breakaway gap, but I don't want to see that, so I want to be out if we get taken to that high. So I want to see this 4 hour candle. It's tricking people out of sells. It returns to the breakaway gap just like I said it would, and then hopefully you're going to see this play out as well. So you've watched me catch buys from in here up until this high point where I took my second partial, and then hopefully you're going to see me catch the sells. Do I sound scared? Do I sound fearful? Do I sound even emotionally attached to this? No, because I'm managing the trade so well that my emotions can't take over. I'm literally purely basing every decision on logic. That's it. But you'll see one 5 minute candle wick and then start closing out. You've not seen me make one decision on a wick. In here, this wick nearly took my stop loss was here. These equal lows. This wick down here looked like it was going to take my stop. A lot of you would have probably closed here. Can't deal with the emotion stuff. But look then where we closed. Above this candle's high, which indicates we're going to see some more premium targets. Alright, we didn't get to my draw, but the trade was managed that well that I still made money. I still made 0.5% here, and I'm already up 2% in this leg. From here, in one 5 minute candle, sorry, 2 5 minute candles, this candle and this candle, I made 2%. So in 10 minutes I made 2%, which is 6 grand on my 300k, but I'm entering on a trade copier. And now my stop is reduced by 50%. So if I get taken out, I'm taking a 1% loss. So I make 1% in here. %1 in 10 minutes. If I get stopped. If this doesn't continue to go in my favour. So I've bagged 2% and I'm floating up another 1% right now. Now this video is going to be probably the best video that I've done for the new trader, because you can see how emotionally sound I am. This isn't something that is scaring me or I'm fearful of missing out. I just saw the opportunities and pulled the trigger. No questions asked. No if, buts or maybes. No hindsight. No bullshit. And as you can see up here through this whole video, market is open. This is not hindsight. You can see price counting down and you can see the market is open. So these videos are probably going to be quite long, but if you can watch through it and bear to watch me manage my trades, then you can start to implement this so quickly. This is not no beginner stuff. This is pure trade efficiency. Now I do like this candle's close. If you notice, this candle didn't close above this opening price, and then this candle closed within this candle's body. So we could get a wick up to here, but then I would want to see a drop. Ideally it doesn't wick up into here again, we just get the drop. And we're approaching profit taking hour, so I wanted to see it dropping down within this time frame from this candle till 12. Ideally it happens by 11 so I can be fully out. So that is an ideal that we've tapped it again, and it looks like we're seeking that buy side in the breakaway gap and potentially my stop loss. But again, we're not panicked. We've already made money, we can't lose. Just touch the premium high. I want to see it close below here. That's it. Listen to Wolfpack. Good girl. Now a few times you will manage trades like this and you will get taken out and run, but over a large data set this benefits us more to making money. Regardless of your ego getting to your take profit, this is what makes money: managing trades and effectively managing trades, not just making decisions based off wicks or just keeping my stop loss there because we've reached 50% of my target. If price reversed on me and I took a full stop loss, I wouldn't make any money. And now look at what we're doing. So that could have easily wicked and then came down here, but over a large data set, managing trades like this makes you more money. Okay, your ego gets damaged because you don't feel like you're right, or you feel like you were right but you didn't get the whole portion. But over 100, 200, 300, 400 trades, managing your trades makes money, because the number one rule in this game is to preserve capital, and that's what I'm doing. When prices reach 50% of my target, if that reversed and I took a full stop loss, then that would damage my profit curve much more. We're trying to have a smooth profit curve, slowly incrementally rising, rather than big jagged drops and dips, and that's what happens when you keep your ego, and now look at what we're doing. My full stop loss was here, so we're floating at about 1R right now, but my stop loss goes to here. So we want to see this close nice and bearish, ideally below these two lows, and then hopefully we can start expanding. After manipulating people out short and taking out short traders who were profiting and who haven't managed their trades, or the people who just move their stop loss to the next lower high, which again isn't any logic to a stop loss. You're just praying that that high doesn't get taken. I don't like how we've closed above this low, so I'll take another partial here. So you'll hear me take another partial, only a small one. That was the first one, but my phone was on silent. So as you heard, that's the second partial. And now hopefully my remaining amount, which is 50 standard lots, starts to run. Purely based off this candle's closure. So we've taken two partials, one partial here, and then one partial further up here, because this does not signify to me, as I said, I want to close below here. Now I want it to start expanding, but this didn't signal that it was going to expand, because after we took that high, we then closed above these lows. And you notice I'm making money and we're not got to my full profit target. This is the best case scenario, but I'm going to take money when the market makes sense to take money. Look at this wick. This down close candle completely filled this imbalance and then expanded higher, created a balanced price range, expanded higher, tapped the balanced price range here, expanded higher. So this area down here was the origin, and look at how it wicked to it, got my partials, and then we started to scare out traders. It's almost like what I'm teaching you makes sense and works, because it does. And now great, we've taken two partials, preserved capital, locked in more profit, and we're getting our expansion lower. I would love to see these other gurus on Twitter do this, but yeah, I have 300 followers. They don't. Simple. Now that's what I wanted to see. An area of interest now where we want to see price close below is this. Now the quadrants are useful for Cs. Ideally we want it to close below the last quadrant, so that would be this level in here. So on the sell side delivery, we want it to close as a minimum below here, but we want to see it close in an ideal scenario below this low and below this final quadrant. And look, we tapped the CE, just as I said. So I will drop a horizontal on here. So right now, look, we took out intermediate term lows. The C of that becomes reactive, react off it. Now it doesn't have to be this candle that closes below it, but we want to see it within a short amount of time. And as a minimum, close below this rejection block. So we've got 13 seconds left of this candle close. And if we previously look back in price, times where we had big drops here, you have big wicks, big wick, big wick, scaring out traders, purging liquidity, dropping. here, big wick, purges liquidity, drop. So he's just looking back in previous areas of price. Here, big wick, liquidity, drop. Okay, this isn't clean in here, but you would be taking profits below this low. Fully filled an imbalance. Here, cause the up run. Balance price range, buy side, sell side, buy side. So you would be out the trade here on this candle here, and you wouldn't sit through all this. And as I stated, we close below this rejection block, and now hopefully we close below the CE. So here, close below this rejection block, immediate rebalance here. We want to see price close below this low here. It's almost like when I draw it, it happens, isn't it? It's because I'm literally just following logic. I'm not doing anything special. I'm not doing anything that doesn't get backed by liquidity. Hopefully this candle here closes below this candle's closing price. Notice how I'm looking at the closing price, not the wick down here. So you want a bearish close, ideally below this low, and ideally below this close within the next 2 minutes. If this candle closes like this, I'll collapse the trade, because this wick CE is classed as a gap. It's taken out intermediate term low liquidity, and then is signalling potential signs of a deeper retracement. And now I don't want to keep sitting through trades where I have to hold through ages and ages. You've seen me trade pretty much the whole PM before the 9:30 open, and then after the 9:30 open. So let's just see if we can reach. This is where my stop loss will be moved to break even, or actually my stop loss will be moved to a PD array around break even, which would be the C of this wick that took this liquidity and then would have caused a rush lower, also had an immediate rebalance. So this wick, once we get to this level here where my alert is, my stop loss will go to here, the C of that wick. So we'll put a line on it, and then we can remove the fib, and then I know I've got my break even stop just in profit, covering commissions, locked in. And now what I'd really like to see is a close below here, but minimum close below this C, well actually a minimum close below this candle's closing price, but ideally below here, below this low, below that low, all more ideal closes. Because I can't tell you it's going to close below here, or it's going to close below here, or it's going to close below here, but I'm going to wait for price to tell me which one of these areas it wants to close below. And look, it wanted to close below this intermediate term low, so I'm going to hold. Simple repeating logic. You hear me and Lars talk about it all the time because it works. It really does work. So as you can see here, we're using this CE on the other side of the curve. So a little check at ES. See how this candle here would have faked people into going long. Like I said, if my logic was correct, you would see this play out, and that's why I shorted NQ. And that's why also the long wasn't as, see these candle bodies closing much stronger than NQs did in here after touching that volume imbalance that I stated. And another lovely bit of nesting is this, look, immediate rebalance nested with this CE. Algorithmic signatures, and you're watching it live. Again, market open, time running. That doesn't happen on hindsight charts, and you will see the executions. Again, like you see me say before, how many people in long do you reckon got scared out here? Same to be said here. How many people short got scared out on this candle? A lot. Oh, it's breaking a high. It's not closed above a high, so why are you panicking? You make a decision based off a wick, then you're just part of a manipulation. If you wait, if this candle closes here, just above, then I'm going to collapse the trade anyway and reduce the chance of it going to my full reduced stop loss. So even there, if it closed just a pip here, I'll collapse the trade instantly. I mean, the next candle could open and just instantly spike up, but a lot of the times it won't just do that. And then look, immediate rebalance this CE, run lower. Do I sound one bit phased by anything that's happened? No, because I'm not. I've seen this play out so many times, and I've managed that many trades that the emotion doesn't really grab hold of me. And you will get like that, but you need to base all of your decisions based off the things I'm teaching you in these videos and in my Telegram, on YouTube. You're seeing it play out in front of your eyes, and me talk you through every single point of the way. Now it's 3:30 in the UK, which is where I'm based, and hopefully we can get our take profit smashed. We're floating up another 2%. We're floating up 2% on partials. Now once we take here, that will be another partial for me, and that will be majority of the trade collapsed. But this is the area my stop loss will move to here. It doesn't move to here or this candle's high, it moves to a logical area. It doesn't move to this high. It moves to a logical PD array area around my break even. Now this CE could have been in this little loss and it would go there, and in that case, because we're so far extended now, I would probably move my stop loss to but just break even completely. Again, close below these lows, signals lower prices, and there we go. There will be another partial. So this will be a majority off of my final remaining partial, which is 15 standard lots. Close position, and then there we go. My stop loss now moves to above that CE. So stop loss now is essentially nothing. I cannot lose. And we're approaching the final take profit. Notice this rush down, no up close candle came after we took out a high. First stage of distribution, reaccumulation, second stage of distribution, and it very well could take out this low, but I don't need to sit through that. I've made more than enough money today, and you're seeing it play out live, and we talk you through every step of the way. Look at this, is beautiful in here. This CE of this wick that took out intermediate term low before, immediate rebalance. That could have been another entry, but I didn't need to enter again. I didn't need to put more risk on the table, and we're about to smoke our take profit. So let's get that in place. Now, when I send these executions in on my Telegram, I'm not going to release the video for a hot minute, but I want you to study them. I want you to study the executions. On your 5-minute chart, that will be the task, to study these executions on the 5-minute. See why I took things where I did, see what reasons potentially, and then you'll watch this video and then you can compare your own logic. Some people would have probably got out here on this candle and then beat themselves up after this drop. Logic did not tell me to close the trade or get scared of the trade. Logic just told me everyone else is getting scared. But as you saw here, we don't get scared. And then you see here the low resistance liquidity run play out. Using the previous logic on my buy side of the curve became the logic for my selling opportunity on the sell side of the curve. Now notice we're not in profit taking hour yet, so I'm not getting scared. And we have failure swings down here that could all be in sight. So at this point, because we're making a big wick, my stop loss is going to move to here. If price closed below this balanced price range, my stop would have stayed there, but we've closed inside of it, so I don't want to lose this portion of profit. So my stop loss will go to this CE, or just in that immediate rebalance on the 5-minute, which is here. So the stop's going to move right now. Because we're so close to our profit target and we came so close from that rejection block, I don't want to give those profits back. If price closed here, the stop loss would have stayed there. But as you can see, this could be the potential side of a reversal. Oh, I can't guarantee it's going to come out and take out my TP at that hourly rejection block, but probability tells me we're not in profit taking hour. This closing here does not breed confidence that we're going to drop because of this huge wick. But again, stop loss doesn't come to this candle's low or anything like that. It comes to a previous area that was used in supporting my idea. The same way as my entry here was for the supporting idea for the longs to take out this high. Did I marry that this was going to be hit today? No, I do think this will get taken at some point, but with this formation, didn't close strongly above like I typed out in the previous video that you will soon see. But for now, this can be removed. This can be removed. This immediate rebalance can be removed. This can be removed. This low can be removed. That low will stay on. That balanced price range will stay on. And as you can see, we have no risk. So stop loss now It's hit, and it's all gain. This is the only portion of the trade left on. Immaculate trade management, logic for every decision, and you've seen it before your eyes in a live market. I don't understand why people trade any other logic, because it is pretty complicated, but when I'm breaking it down to you like this and you see me do it, it's not that hard to justify your decisions based on candle closures, using logic and having reasons, technical reasons for every decision, not a feeling or an emotion that makes you scared in the trade or wish you did something else. You saw me how I managed my stop loss moving, you saw me how I managed my partials being taken. I want this candle to close outside this balanced price range. And it didn't. But what we are closing below is the 50%. So we can come up, tap, another immediate rebalance here. Do you think we drop more? We check DXY. The 4 hour. So that big drop that I was assuming, and then the big rush up. Like I said, this was the draw. It just happened in reverse. I said we'd come up and go there, and that's why I changed my bias, because once we didn't come up to here first and we dropped lower first for the buys, if this candle came up here, tapped and started to run lower, the buys to the NQ draw would have been valid. Now this is still a draw for me, it will stay on the chart. These don't need to be here anymore. We just tapped the 4, just missed the 4 hour rejection block. But again, I can only win here. There is no losing now, and that is effectively what trade management is. Reducing risk. We came 0.7 of a point away from my TP. Does that make me angry? No. I've made enough money on these last 2 trades. Another breakaway gap draw. Here, this gap. Just a little touch. So liquidity in an inefficient area. So this is the breakaway gap draw. Just there. And then look at that. Now that could have been my take profit, but I anticipated this low getting ran, so I chose the rejection block. I'm not going to sit and get angry over missing it by that much. But as you can see, these breakaway gap draws, it's a double deal. You've got liquidity in an inefficient area, and then as you can see here, we've just filled this imbalance completely. Type 2 intermediate term high should hold for lower prices. Again, look, we're not in profit taking hour, so we're going to just wait. We have until 11, and so we have 15 minutes, not even, we've got 11 minutes 14 seconds to wait till profit taking hour. So we're going to at least watch the next 11 minutes together. Now these videos will be long, but you can see how valuable this skill set is, watching someone who makes money at it do it and explain it. I know when I post these executions in the Telegram, everyone's going to go crazy because it's flawless in the management of the trade, which is what you're trying to achieve. That is so beautiful here. 2 entries, even 4 entries, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5th entry if you wanted it above that. Sell, 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 sell when it touches the bottom again, and then sell when it takes the high. Oh, I like that close. Now I want to see this wick. If we come up and tap it, support price lower. But I like this candle's close below this balance price range. Why this candle's CE? Because it fully filled this imbalance. So let's just watch this play out. Though a lot of people would have been trying to short this, finding where's the entries. I mean, if we look at the 1 minute, this would have been a good short. This is a good short off this order block that took the liquidity in that breakaway gap. Another good short here. Another good short here, because this is a propulsion block. So we have this order block. Why is this an order block? Took out liquidity in this formation of price. We fully filled this imbalance. Broke lower, closed below the opening price, didn't have the FVG, so this dug in. Propulsion block, and then what does the propulsion block leave? FVG afterwards. So this was a good entry. Also have the C of that wick before. This is just poetry today, price poetry. And you're watching it firsthand. This low, close below here, another entry, short, short, short this low, short this CE. I was all the way up from up here, so I didn't need to take these riskier entries, but if you're thinking where do I place myself in a rush that's just dropping, this is how. Now hopefully this 5 minute candle can give us our take profit and we can be done. Apologies for how long these are, but 1 hour for each recording. And this value is ridiculous. All for free. $40 seconds left of the candle. Hopefully these next 35 can just take that take profit out. Again, notice we're not in profit taking out yet. Let's have a look at ES. We have a tiny bullish SMT. On the 5 minute right before the profit taking hour, which could signal some slowing down in price. And now, because of how close we are to profit taking hour, my stop's going to go above this high, this intermediate term high. So just locking in more and more profits.
not even giving chance for price to reverse and take profits off of us. As you can see, we're slowly approaching the target, and along this whole way we never gave price a chance. Everything indicated lower, so I managed the trade exactly as price suggested I should. So we can take this off now. Let's look at this 4-hour candle. Now, what did I say after this close? This candle's going to open, make the high into the breakaway gap, not return to our breakaway gap. That was our stop loss, and then we expand lower. On the hourly, we're close to our rejection block, which is here. And there we have it, people. Take profit smashed. And there we have it, people. 8% made live for you all to see. Immaculate trade management. Price is expanding at 11. You think that's a coincidence? It's not. So I hope this video was extremely useful and you can use it to implement into your own trading. And I will be in touch with you shortly. Have a good one, everyone.